The moment you wake up spiritually, everything feels wrong. Not because life is broken, but because you can finally see clearly. And once you see, you can never unsee. When spiritual awakening happens, it does not arrive like fireworks or celebration. It arrives like a quiet disturbance in your everyday life. The things that once motivated you suddenly feel empty. Conversations you enjoyed feel shallow, and routines you followed without question begin to feel strange and misaligned. You may wake up one morning feeling like you are living inside a life that no longer belongs to you. Nothing outside has changed, yet everything inside has shifted. This inner shift creates confusion because your old identity no longer fits. Awakening begins with discomfort because truth dissolves illusion. And illusion is what once made life feel stable. One of the first signs that everything feels wrong is the sudden loss of interest in noise. The endless chasing, proving, competing, and becoming starts to feel exhausting. You begin to question why everyone is running so hard toward things that do not seem to fulfill them. Social validation feels hollow, and external success stops exciting you the way it once did. This is not depression, though it may resemble it on the surface. It is clarity emerging where distraction once lived. The mind struggles because it was trained to survive on stimulation. Awareness, however, does not need noise. Relationships begin to feel different too. Not because people have changed, but because you have. You may find yourself unable to tolerate dishonesty, superficial bonding, or emotional games. Small talk feels draining, and forced interactions feel heavy. You start noticing how often people speak without listening, react without awareness, and live unconsciously. This realization can make you feel lonely even in a crowded room. Not because you are superior, but because you are present. Presence creates distance from unconscious patterns. And that distance can feel like isolation before it feels like freedom. Your mind may start questioning everything you once believed without resistance. Ideas about success, love, religion, morality, and purpose begin to collapse. What once gave certainty now raises questions. This mental dismantling can feel like losing your ground. The ego panics because it thrives on certainty and identity. Awareness does not need belief to exist. It only needs observation. So when belief systems fall away, the mind interprets it as something going wrong. In truth, it is the beginning of seeing life without filters. Emotionally, you may feel raw and exposed during this phase. Old wounds, suppressed emotions, and unresolved pains surface without warning. The distractions that once kept them buried no longer work. This is not regression, it is integration. Awareness brings light, and light reveals what was hidden. Healing is uncomfortable because it requires honesty. The mind wants quick relief, but awakening demands patience. This is where many people try to escape back into unconsciousness. But once awareness begins, it does not fully retreat. You may start feeling disconnected from time itself. The future loses its grip on you, and the past no longer feels solid. Planning obsessively feels pointless, and nostalgia loses its emotional charge. This can be frightening because society conditions us to anchor our identity in time. Awareness exists only now. When you touch this state, the illusion of control dissolves. The mind resists because it was trained to dominate time. Presence removes that illusion. And without illusion, things feel unfamiliar. Work and productivity may suddenly feel meaningless. Not because work is bad, but because you begin questioning motives. You ask yourself why you are doing what you are doing. Is it fear, validation, survival, or genuine expression? This questioning can make you feel lost, unmotivated, or directionless. But this is not stagnation. It is recalibration. Awareness removes unconscious momentum. Before movement can become aligned, it must first stop. Stillness is uncomfortable to the conditioned mind. Spiritual awakening also exposes how reactive the world truly is. You begin noticing emotional immaturity, unconscious aggression, and fear-driven behavior everywhere. News, social media, politics, and even family interactions feel chaotic. Not because the world suddenly became worse, but because you are no longer numb to it. Awareness heightens sensitivity. This sensitivity is not weakness. It is intelligence without armor. At first, it overwhelms you. Later, it teaches discernment. You may experience a deep sense of grief without a clear cause. This grief is not about loss, but about realization. You grieve the years spent unconscious, the energy wasted chasing illusions, and the version of yourself that lived on autopilot. This grief is natural and necessary. It marks the end of psychological innocence. Awareness does not condemn the past. It understands it. But understanding still carries emotional weight. Let the grief move through you without judgment. Your sense of identity begins to dissolve during awakening. You no longer know who you are in the old terms. Labels feel restrictive, roles feel artificial, and titles lose meaning. This identity collapse can feel terrifying. The ego interprets it as death. Awareness sees it as liberation. When identity loosens, possibility expands. But before expansion feels exciting, it feels disorienting. This is why awakening feels like everything is wrong before it feels right. You may find yourself craving solitude more than connection. Silence becomes nourishing rather than empty. Being alone feels more honest than performing socially. This does not mean you are antisocial or broken. It means you are listening inwardly. Awareness draws energy back from external noise. Solitude becomes a space of clarity rather than loneliness. However, society often misinterprets this withdrawal. Do not rush to explain yourself. Let awareness guide your pace. Fear often increases during awakening, paradoxically. Not fear of danger, but fear of uncertainty. When old structures dissolve, the mind has nothing to cling to. Control fades, and unpredictability becomes visible. This exposure creates anxiety. But awareness teaches that fear exists only when resisting uncertainty. The present moment itself is never threatening. It is the projection into future that creates fear. Awakening exposes this mechanism clearly. You begin noticing how much of life is lived unconsciously. Habits, routines, emotional reactions, and belief systems operate automatically in most people. This realization can create frustration or judgment if not understood properly. Awareness does not seek superiority. It seeks clarity. Others are not wrong. They are asleep in different ways. Awakening is not about escaping humanity. It is about understanding it deeply without being consumed by it. Your perception of success begins to change radically. External achievement no longer satisfies internal emptiness. You may still pursue goals, but the attachment to outcome weakens. This detachment feels confusing in a world driven by ambition. But awareness shifts value from accumulation to alignment. You begin measuring success by inner peace rather than applause. This inner shift creates conflict with societal expectations. That conflict is part of the awakening process. Spiritual awakening often creates a feeling of standing between two worlds. You no longer fully belong to unconscious living, but you are not yet grounded in awareness. This in-between state feels unstable. Old coping mechanisms fail, and new understanding is still forming. Many people give up here because the discomfort is intense. But this phase is temporary. Clarity stabilizes when resistance ends. Let yourself pass through without rushing. You may notice that emotional reactions slow down, not because you suppress them, but because you observe them. Anger, sadness, and fear arise, but they no longer fully possess you. This distance can feel strange at first. You may wonder if something is wrong with you. In truth, this is emotional intelligence awakening. Awareness creates space between stimulus and response. In that space, freedom lives. Language itself may begin to feel inadequate. Words fail to describe what you are experiencing. Concepts fall short, explanations feel shallow, and spiritual cliches lose meaning. This can make communication frustrating. Awareness is experiential, not conceptual. Trying to explain it to others can feel impossible. Silence becomes more honest than explanation. Let experience be enough. You do not need to convince anyone. As awakening deepens, compassion naturally arises. Not forced kindness, but understanding. You see suffering clearly, including your own. This clarity softens judgment. You realize that unconscious behavior is rooted in pain, fear, and conditioning. This does not excuse harm, but it explains it. Awareness allows boundaries without hatred, strength without aggression. This balance is learned through presence, not effort. Your relationship with the body changes too. You become more sensitive to what you consume, how you move, and how you rest. The body becomes a messenger rather than a tool. Ignorance becomes noticeable immediately. Awareness listens before the body screams. This sensitivity is not fragility. It is intelligence. The body aligns naturally when the mind is present. Time spent alone in nature, silence, or stillness becomes deeply restorative. These environments mirror awareness. They do not demand performance. In stillness, the nervous system recalibrates. The mind slows naturally without force. Awakening reconnects you to simple presence. Complexity dissolves when attention is grounded. Life becomes quieter, but richer. You may feel tempted to escape discomfort through spirituality itself. Concepts, teachings, and identities can become new distractions. Awareness sees through this quickly. Truth does not decorate itself. It remains simple and direct. Awakening is not about becoming spiritual. It is about being present. Any identity formed around awakening becomes another illusion. Confusion during awakening is not a mistake. It is part of dismantling false certainty. The mind wants answers, but awareness teaches observation. When you stop demanding resolution, clarity emerges naturally. Confusion dissolves when resistance ends. Allow not knowing. It is a powerful state. In not knowing, truth reveals itself quietly. You begin trusting direct experience more than belief. What you see, feel, and observe becomes more reliable than what you are told. This shift builds inner authority. External validation loses importance. Awareness becomes the reference point. This independence can feel isolating, but it is deeply empowering. You no longer outsource truth. Moments of deep peace may arise unexpectedly, not excitement, but stillness. These moments confirm that nothing is actually wrong. They arrive when resistance drops. You realize that suffering was created by attachment to illusion. Peace is not achieved, it is uncovered. Awakening reveals what was always present beneath noise. As awareness stabilizes, confusion gives way to clarity. Not absolute answers, but grounded presence. You function in the world without being consumed by it. Engagement becomes conscious rather than compulsive. Life feels lighter even when challenges arise. This is not emotional numbness. It is emotional freedom. The world may still appear chaotic, but it no longer destabilizes you. You see patterns without reacting blindly. Awareness provides perspective. Perspective creates peace. You realize that inner alignment matters more than external order. When inner clarity exists, outer chaos loses power. This is true strength. You stop seeking awakening as a goal. You realize it is not something to achieve. It is a recognition of what already is. The search itself dissolves. Presence remains. Effort falls away. Life unfolds naturally without psychological resistance. This is not passivity. It is intelligent participation. Compassion for yourself deepens during this phase. You forgive past ignorance. You see how unconsciousness shaped choices. Shame dissolves into understanding. Awareness does not punish. It integrates. This self-compassion extends outward naturally. You relate to others with softness rather than judgment. You begin living more simply, not out of discipline, but clarity. What is unnecessary falls away effortlessly. Attention returns to what matters. Awareness refines life naturally. Complexity was never required. Simplicity reveals depth. Awakening does not make life perfect. Challenges still arise. Pain still exists. But suffering decreases because resistance ends. You meet life directly. Presence replaces avoidance. This directness feels honest, and honesty feels peaceful. You realize that feeling lost was never a mistake. It was a transition. The old map no longer worked. A new way of seeing had not yet stabilized. Now you walk without map. Awareness becomes the guide, and it never misleads. The need to explain yourself disappears. You let others interpret you as they wish. Freedom replaces defense. Awareness does not argue, it observes. You become rooted rather than reactive. This rootedness is unshakable. You begin trusting life itself. Not blindly, but attentively. You respond rather than react. You listen rather than assume. Awareness shapes action naturally. Effortless alignment replaces struggle. This is not destiny, it is clarity. When everything felt wrong, it was because illusion was dissolving. Truth does not arrive loudly. It arrives quietly, unsettling what is false. Awakening feels wrong only to the mind. To awareness, it feels inevitable, necessary, honest. If this resonates with you, share in the comments what part of awakening feels most confusing or painful right now, and tell me what you need clarity on, because awareness grows stronger when it is shared consciously.